What's going on, Sha?
Absolutely nothing. How about you?
I'm excited we're back. You know, we had a little hiccup there. We missed the bonus episode for the fans.
Right.
But we are back in these streets, live in effect. I'm excited.
I need to take a moment actually to discuss your apology clip.
Okay.
What? I think is my main question. What? Huh? What? Why? How did it go? It was very well done, but like, do your thoughts, like, it literally just sounded like you were in a room with the wind blowing the curtains back and your shirt, which was unbuttoned, all of that being blown back by the R&B wind that's always in all of the videos.
Yeah. I was feeling real emotional, you know. Most people sing songs about women. I get really touched about failed audio issues, okay? And
all right, well, I mean, I guess we all have our passions.
And you gotta remember, like, once you remove the fact that, like, I'm not singing about like a lost love, with this young lady, and I'm just singing about this song, or this case is this podcast that I didn't record correctly. All the other aspects are the same, like I was by myself. It was 3 a.m, and I was having this problem, so I was like, I'm really alone here editing audio. I was, I had a glass of wine, like I was there. In every other way, it was an R&B video. But yeah,
right.
I had no one to console me. I called you at 9 a.m. to let you know, hey, Liz, this is what's going on. I was moved. Like
I figured. I was like, it's fine. In fact, when you called, I was already at my office. I had to go to my office very early. So you called and I answered, and then you started talking, and then I didn't want to put the phone to my head because I had just gotten off of the train and I hadn't had a chance to wipe it down yet. Okay. So then I'm reaching for my headphones and wrestling with them, and I put them in. And so I missed you actually saying that the sound wasn't working and blah, blah, blah. So when I came in, I forget exactly what you were saying, but the tone of your voice was so sad.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh, I guess the sound maybe didn't work or so. Like I put it together just based on the tone of your voice, which was just, you were the saddest one in Boys to Men, the dude with the cane. You sounded like a breakup song by Boys to Men when the dude with the cane was still with them and did his little spoken interlude. That's what you sounded like at 9 a.m.
That was my energy. That's exactly what I was trying to put out there. I'm glad as an artist I was able to project that feeling to the public,
But it also makes sense that you were alone at 3 a.m. drinking wine, now that brings everything into a starker relief as to why it sounded the way it did. And why that seemed like a good idea at the time. Yeah,
I put it out there. Like I just started getting like a whole bunch of messages from my friends. They're like, "Yo, you good?"
Oh,
everybody's like,
gosh,
it's a podcast, right? Like it's cool. Like you're gonna record another episode next week. And I'm like, yeah, but y'all don't know what I've been through. I was trying to edit this audio. I had a system going. We had a guest, everything. So yeah, it felt heavy, shout outs to Gordon Baker Bone, by the way, for doing a great episode that nobody will hear.
We'll have him back on as soon as possible. But I know what that's like. There are a couple of podcasts that I've been a guest on, and I was just like, maybe they just didn't like it. And then I find out like a year later, like, oh no, the dog ate it or something. Like it's completely gone. Sorry about that.
It happens. I do have it. I will put it out one day when like that's in style. Like, like how Kanye like brought back like, the vocoder and singing with 808s. Like if there's ever like a niche audience for like podcasts is where 2 of the 3 people have way too much reverb and echo effect. then it'll come out, as an exclusive. But in the meantime,
Okay, all right, yeah. So keep your eyes peeled for that, everybody.
There you go. And I also bought a whole bunch of vocoder apps myself. So
that's good.
You think I'm playing? If I ever have an audio issue again, and I need to apologize to the people, there will be an 808 and Heartbreaks inspired song of apology. It's gonna come out. So yeah, I hope it never happens, but if it does happen, it will be nominated for a Grammy. So it might be a win overall.
Oh my goodness. I have another order of business that I think we need to discuss.
Talk to me. What's going
on? Someone asked me via Twitter if we have a name for our listeners yet, our hive, as it were. And I thought I should bring that to you because I don't think we do. And I feel like these kinds of things are organic. But, I mean, if we're out here, as much as we're out here, which is to say as out here as we feel like being, I feel like that's something that we should have at the ready. Like what do listeners want to call themselves?
Yeah, I think that's important. We're in the era of letting you self-identify. I'm with that,
Yeah. So I don't have an exact idea as to what we should use. I think listeners should help us come up with that. But I'm open to, suggestions. So if people want to send us suggestions for, listener names, and remember, you guys are coming up with that, but this is something that you will be identified as for the rest of your life. So
right.
Really think about it.
Yeah. Would you wear this on a t-shirt? Because it's going to happen,
Right. How's this going to look on a tote bag?
I don't know what it's going to be, but I want it to be a word that's it makes me sound I want it to be yo, Gastor learn how to say that word, I say it well, but I didn't say it well the first time, Yeah.
Okay, so you want it to be a new word to you?
It doesn't need to be, but it needs to feel that way. I feel that feels
okay.
Right.
All right.
If it was something like contingent, this is the contingency. I could say that, but I promise you, the first time I read it, it didn't go well.
Okay, gotcha.
So yeah. I like that. Feels right. That's the energy I think that I want to put out there. That feels good.
So, how do you feel about puns? I feel like we need to get this out of the way. Do you know what I mean? Do you want any wacky puns or anything? How do you feel about war reporters? That feels a little too easy.
Yeah, that's
for me.
a layup. I don't like that.
Yeah. I want you to really think about this, y'all out there. War reporters seems very easy, but I want it to be a little tougher than that, a little smarter. Clearly, a word that Gastor has struggled with in his past. If you could just kind of think about what word that could be and fit that in somehow.
Yeah, that feels right. Because it just sound like you guys are members of a rapper's imprint label that never signed anybody important,
Okay, so now we're moving into a snazzier kind of direction.
How Busta Rhymes had the conglomerate, you know what I mean? That sounded real heavy. We never heard anybody in this conglomerate, you know what I mean? They never came out, but they were there. I'm sure they existed. But he learned.
Wait, where did the conglomerate fall?
They were in the post flip mode, but it was just Busta and Spliff at this point. He was just like, all right.
So they were the conglomerate.
Two-man conglomerate. All right, sounded real heavy,
but it was just those guys.
Good.
Okay. And also, I feel like I should bring this up, that Spliff Star really should send us a check for as much as we talk about him.
Real talk. Real talk.
Like, we lift him up a lot around here. And I would like to be acknowledged for doing
We do
so.
wonders for that dude's
I'm just
SEO
saying.
rankings right there.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna put you in search terms for every episode, whether we mention you or not. We just need you to know that anytime someone is looking for Splipstar, they find us, and we are also looking for Splipstar.
Oh man, I love that. I want that to happen so much.
Yeah.
Let's get into the news, Sha.
Okay.
Florida's DeSantis faces criticism over COVID-19 vaccination clinics in upscale communities. That's right. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is facing bipartisan criticism and a call for federal investigation after the state set up invitation-only COVID-19 vaccination clinics in at least 2 upscale neighborhoods. One prominent developer in the community donated to DeSantis campaigns in the amounts of $25 and $50K in 2018 and 2019 for a total of $125K total, according to the campaign finance records. These exclusive vaccine clinics allowed about 6,000 people to jump ahead of the tens of thousands of seniors on the wait list in Manatee and Charlotte counties. Yeah, this is type gangster right here.
Oh, wow.
Real grease.
Invitation only?
Real talk. My man was acting like a club bouncer with these needles. It's like, nah, B, you ain't paid a bouncer. You don't get to come in. I need my money.
That's wild, even for Florida. First of all, good for Florida for even having vaccines. I did not see that for you. So good on you for that. It is a shame that they are invitation only. That's wild. That's wild. Invitation only. In only like 2 particular communities.
Yes, it's kind of suspect. It looks a little wild up there. I
would not trust. I don't know. I mean, like, that's so. Who wants to? I mean, like, did you have to like wait in a deep line to get to the bar to get your literal shot? Like, I don't trust any of this. Is there a dress code?
Can't get in with them loafers,
clinics. And also, it says that it allowed 6,000 people to jump ahead of tens of thousands of seniors on wait lists. So, like, did the people on the wait list get to see them like rolling forward ahead of them? Like, did they, you know what I mean?
That would be worse, but I would applaud the gangster. Like, like I'm not on board with the idea, but like I do want to do that to someone in another setting. Like yo, I'm gonna pass you in the line, but you got to get in line first. I mean,
yeah, that's basically how clubs work. That's just so wild. There's no way. That's so ridiculous. And also, like, I mean, like, the whole point is, are these people then going to be out in the street more, or are they going to go home and hide from everyone?
Yeah, that's what I
like. They're already in a gated community. Like, what? I don't know. It's very confusing.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because, like, if you're in Florida with money, like, your property is like 10,000 square feet. Like, you was already good. Like, how did you get there? You know?
Yeah, you could probably wait that out. I mean, if it's just you and your marble house, because I assume all big houses in Florida are made out of marble. So it's you and your marble house. And then, like, let the people who are living all up on top of each other in apartments get the shot, because they're the ones around folks. You ain't around nobody.
At all. Like, even if, like, when you shop in, like, rich places in Florida. Like, I went to, like, a supermarket in Florida. I forgot what time. I know they had decent bread. But, like, I remember, like, I went in at, like, 12 o'clock. And I went to the potato chip aisle, and I was by myself for like 25 minutes. Like, I got to go up and down the aisle, look at the brands, grab a bag, put it back, fluff it up, because I used to sell chips. I didn't want to disrespect the vendor. Like, I took time analyzing the calories and everything. My wife like shopped the whole store, and I was by myself.
Were you in a Publix?
Yeah, it was some like it's not New York, but it was huge, and it was like a lot of over.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that was Publix. I mean, look, it's a bittersweet relationship that I have with Publix right now because we've learned that they donated lots of money to real shitty causes. Because they're Republican owned and, or at least the family that owns them, like gives money to terrible causes or whatever. I mean, that said, they're rotisserie chicken now. I mean, like like Publix has sustained me so many times. Their deli section for sandwich, my God, just their chicken fingers, their fried chicken sandwiches. It's wild, and the aisles are always clean.
Yeah,
and yeah, they have a ridiculous. I mean, like I imagine you may be able to understand what it's like to grow up in those kinds of grocery stores and then move to New York and just go, why is everything falling on me? Like, why is everything stacked to 7 feet tall? Where's your room? I can't breathe. I can't breathe in the store. But that's because for years I've just been dancing down the aisles of Publix,
it's crazy.
in the middle of the day. Yeah, it's great. It's great. But I mean, luckily I don't have to deal with it being in New York. But if I was still in Atlanta during when they were finding out who was giving money to who, and they're boycott Publix, I'm sure there were a lot of folks that were like, I mean, I want to.
I'm with you in spirit.
But yeah, but them Italian subs though, like it's tough. It's tough.
Can you like out donate that? Like, listen, like, I don't believe in this, but I need this. So for like every $5 sub I buy, I'm gonna donate $10.
Yeah, that's still not going to do you. They put a lot of money out there, because they've been propped up by my rotisserie chicken dollars, So they definitely are going to beat you on that. Now you've donated money and that's good. And hopefully you can write that off on your taxes or something. But you also probably have eaten more fried chicken sandwiches than you should. Although that's hard to say because they're Publix ones. So it doesn't feel like a chore. Anywho, if you live, if you're in one of these fucking VIP communities, I think you get to wait. Yeah. I think you should wait a little longer, unless you're like, I don't think it's right that upscale communities got their own special, velvet rope.
Yeah, no, that's not cool.
Vaccination shots. That's terrible.
Only people that should be allowed to skip the line in those communities are people that work at these Publix. They are serving the community.
Yeah, or people who work for those people.
Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. You a cashier at Publix, you can skip the line. Rest of them, they gotta wait. I like that.
Yeah. I wonder if they even. I think I just saw. Maybe it was Ohio where they opened up another level of people who were allowed to get shots, and it was like anyone 60 and older. And I was like, who the hell have you been giving shots to this whole time? Who's getting the shots then? We just got to the 60 and older? Not even 60 and older. Oh Lord.
Yeah, I was mad at that too. I was like, when I was looking for the shots, I found like 10 places that were like walking distance from my crib. So like, oh, this is beautiful. Mm-hmm. But they were all 65 and up. And I was like, I ain't seen a grandfather in East New York in my life.
Well, that's because you all look young having to live in those streets. Nobody wants to look like an easy target by being an old person. So everybody out there, in Jordans and shit, trying to look young.
My dad is out there right now with like a North Face on and Tim's.
Exactly. It's impossible to tell the ages. It's impossible to tell the ages.
I haven't seen anybody in a rocking chair in my life in this neighborhood. Like, I didn't know it was possible. Like, I know grandparents, but only because they were just irresponsible teenagers. Like, oh, you a 35-year-old grandfather. I get it, you know. But like 65 and up, like I thought you had to leave to do that. I didn't know you could stay here and get that. Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah, you can do that. You can grow older in communities. It's okay.
Good to know, you know. Something to aspire to, Sha.
Oh my God.
New York Times woman accuses Cuomo of unwanted advances in a 2019 and in the 2019 crisis deepens. Okay, so a third woman has now come forward and accused the Democratic New York. I like how they threw that in there. They gotta make sure they even on CNN. I like that. The New York Governor Andrew Cuomo of unwanted advances in 2019, reported by the New York Times on Monday, adding to an escalating crisis facing the governor in the wake of 2 other sexual harassment allegations. The woman and Rutch told the Times that Cuomo approached her during a crowded wedding reception in New York in 2019. She told the newspaper she thanked Cuomo for his toast to the newlyweds, and in response, she says he put his hands on her bare lower back, which the Times said was exposed in an open back dress. And when Rauch removed his hand, Cuomo allegedly told her she seemed aggressive as he put his hands on her cheeks. Then Cuomo asked if he could kiss her, and Rauch said she distanced herself as he tried to come closer at this time.
Okay, so already, I mean, if you're only reading this sounds terrible. You're at a wedding, you're dressed up for a wedding, you're speaking to someone, and you're literally saying something to him that's somewhat important. Hey, thank you.
Right.
Thanks for saying what you did about my friends. That was very sweet. My man's not even listening to you, and he has put his hand on the small of your back. Now, look here. The only people who touch the small of my back are if there's some sort of medical emergency or you are my lover. That's it. You're my doctor. You're my lover. You're the only ones touching the small of my back. Like, come on. I feel like that's understood.
Yeah.
You don't just go up and touch somebody on the, come on. That's wild. So, and then for him to say that she was aggressive when she removed his hand is like, no, I think you've got that. Are you talking to yourself? She's not being aggressive by moving your sweaty paw from her back.
You can tell he got like mittens too. Like he got like huge hands.
Yeah, big hands. So, but what's beautiful is, I was just reading this story and I was like, ooh, this is not a good look, because you just had those other 2 women come forward and they aren't, they got their stories. You don't look good in those stories. And then I keep scrolling and then they have a picture. My man was caught on film putting his hands on either side of her face while he's saying, "Can I kiss you?"
She looked.
And the look on her face is literal, just pure terror. Pure terror. There's no way you can look at the photograph and not go, "Oh yeah, no, she wants to kiss him."
Yeah. And what's wild is she definitely is giving off that energy, but he is not giving off the, "Oh, I fucked up" look. Like there's a look that like you like, "Oh, maybe I misstepped here." He is still feeling himself. Like he still thinks, no, this is working. Like it's wow. Like very, like completely misreading the dynamic.
Yeah. Like keep in mind that this is after she had to remove his hand from the small of her back and he called her aggressive. He's still trying to give her a kiss and still like, also, if you put your hands on the side of my face, you are my dentist or you are my lover. Do you understand that? And honestly, if you're doing it as my lover, I'm going to be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like I got to say,
are we filming a movie? Why are you doing this?
I was trying to think of that. Like, I was like, I've been married now 12 years. I don't think I've held Gabby's face, like, at both of my hands. Like, am I trying to choke her? Like, what's happening?
Right. Yeah, like You are my dentist. That's it. You're just my dentist.
I was telling Gabby about it yesterday. I was like, honey, like, if I held both sides of your face, it's because you told me, like, hey, look at my face. Am I swollen? Like,
Cuomo was touching this young woman in ways that you ask close people to you to touch you to see if there's something wrong with you.
That is not like a loving moment. It's nothing. Oh my goodness.
No. Mm. Oh my God. So I saw this picture and I was like, ooh, bro, you might be losing your job. I don't know. I mean, he's got a minute in there and he could prevail. Lord knows dudes like that have prevailed for a small period of time. But yeah, this is definitely not a good look.
Nah, this is rough. I'm not a fan of this move at all.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Yeah.
And y'all didn't want Miranda. Come on. Miranda's not going to be out here touching women at the small of her back.
At all.
At the small of their back. She's not going to be touching their faces. She knows better.
I'm trying to think of when I touched the small. That's such a weird move. Like, I don't know. Like, anytime I've held, like, if I touch someone, the small of their back, is we're dating.
Right.
My sister in like a picture, maybe.
Right. Yep.
Or you were falling off a stage when you were introducing
right.
me.
And yes, exactly. You're catching someone. Yeah. And even then, there's a difference in the style of touch. You know what I mean?
Intimate.
So, yeah, it's not. It's just like, whoop. Yeah. Usually there's that sound too. Whoop.
Yeah.
So, if you're touching the small of my back, but you're making the whoop noise, I get it.
Yeah.
But I don't think Cuomo was saying whoa.
Yeah, I definitely I say, yo. If I would say that, it's just weird. Yeah, I'm with you on this. You sold me. I'm glad I was practicing this already, but now I know this is just a creeper move.
Also, you're very tall, so for you to be touching the smalls of people's back, you got to bend over in an uncomfortable way. So I can't see you doing that in general anyway.
It's just weird. Like, I'm trying to think of like when it makes sense. Like, it's just awkward. Like, if I'm 6 feet tall and then like average women is like 5'5", 5'4", so then like right off the bat they're already shorter than me, and I'm touching the small of your back like that. Like, at that point I'm in like I'm playing defense on you. Like, we on the courts. You know, like, why am I crouched down now?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, no, that's true. Okay, so defense, doctors, my lover. That's it. Those are the only ones.
You ain't scoring on me, all right? Then I'm going to touch the small of your back. That's about it. But he's trying to score. It's different. It's a whole different move here. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, man. Whole towns are refusing COVID-19 vaccines in Mexico. For Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, vaccinating all Mexicans has been a matter of responsible national health. But in certain towns, for example, in the town of Aldama, a small town of 7,000 located in the central highlands of southern Mexican state of Chiapas, some people say they will not get vaccinated regardless of the vaccination plan or where the vaccine comes from. Maria Magdala Lopez Santis, a local resident of Aldama, was quoted as saying, "Why would I get vaccinated? I'm not sick. I wouldn't be good if they tried. It wouldn't be good if they tried to force it on us to get vaccinated." And most of this stems from the lack of trust between this community of indigenous people and their local federal government. This is gonna be a tough one.
I get it.
Like, I was reading it at first. Like, when I read the title, I was like, these motherfuckers. By the end of it, I was like, yeah, I kind of get your energy.
Right. Yeah.
Like, to like this article to me, like, when reading it, it was just full on proof that, like, yo, the government should be using this as like the ultimate test of what your public rating is. Like, if people are taking the vaccine, that community at least somewhat trusts the government. You know, so whatever you're doing, at the very least, like it should be like the restaurant ratings in New York. Like, you hit 80% of the people in the community and they taking the vaccine, you get like an A rating. You get like a B. If no one's taking your shit, you're like, yo, you got to reassess government, put some fines up, shut them down, get some new people in there.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, it's completely understandable. And when people don't understand it, I'm like, oh, so you've never not like, so you still have some sort of trust in the federal government that they will do right by you. Because I don't have that necessarily. I don't really have that trust. And so, yeah, I totally get where they're coming from with this.
I
But and also it's not a good look when the federal government or at least state governments are just like, yeah, put the clinics in the fancy places. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, why would you? And then you go to a tiny town that's like, no, I'm like an afterthought if you even thought of me.
Right.
And what is this? What is this?
No, they gonna learn.
Yeah.
I knew it was bad because my kids asked me like, yo, so where these shots coming from? Because I don't know. Like, I was like, yo, like you 11 and 12, like you shouldn't have an opinion on this at all.
Where are these shots coming from?
They were like on some like, I don't know if I trust his dad. And I'm like, when did you get so jaded at this age? Like who hurt you? What's going on?
I know. Wait till they fully go through puberty. They haven't even done that yet, and so now they're like, nah, I don't know.
I don't know about this one, Pop. I don't feel right. I'm like, for real? Like, yeah, Pop. It looked kind of sketchy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'll be worried out there, man. But I'm glad they're at least thinking about it. They're not just blindly trusting.
No, I like the critical thinking that's involved there. And I mean, I also don't trust anything. So I get it. I understand that. But I mean, even with the idea of the shot, I'm like, I mean, I'm going to get it, but please know that there is a part of me that's like, oh, well, what is this? I don't know. What the hell? But I'll just supersede that and get the shot.
Yeah, a part of me has debated on like I should wait till New Year's, like just to make sure this ain't like I Am Legend, and and like we ain't all gonna die. Because my wife took the shot already, so I'm thinking of the kids. Like one of us should be around. So like if she's right and I go because I ain't get the shot yet, the kids still got a parent, But she took the shot and it turns out to make her a weird werewolf, then I'm still here, and the babies are good money.
Right. Okay.
Like it was selfless.
Well, I'm glad. Yeah. You seem to have really thought this through.
I think so.
You can't. Yeah, you can't. That's ironclad logic. That makes it, it's thinking in a way that I would never think of it because I don't have children.
Now, I mean, real science right here. War Report
real
podcast,
science,
baby.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
6 Dr. Seuss books won't be published anymore because they portray people in a hurtful and wrong way. That's right. 6 Dr. Seuss books will no longer be published. And the titles are And to Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street, If I Ran the Zoo, McEllie Gott's Pool, On Beyond Zebra, Scrambled Egg Supper, and The Cat's Quizzer. That's right. In a statement from Dr. Seuss's Enterprises, it said it made the decision after consulting educators and reviewing its catalogs. It is ceasing sales on these books only part of our commitment and our broader plan to ensure Dr. Seuss's Enterprises catalog represents and supports all communities and families. So this has been like ongoing for a while. A study in 2019 examined 50 of Dr. Seuss's books and found that 43 out of 45 characters of color have characteristics aligning with the definition of Orientalism. The 2 African characters both have anti-black characteristics. And he has like Dr. Seuss, for a lot of people that don't know, while he has all these books that are loved, the guy himself has like a long history of publishing racist and anti-Semitic work spanning back to the 1920s when he was a student at Dartmouth. Wow.
Hey, I mean, it's an old man who writes books that rhyme, that he wrote long before you were born.
Yeah, like this shouldn't be
The
a
fuck you
surprise,
think?
right?
I mean, like, yeah, this shouldn't necessarily be a surprise. And I mean, I guess it's probably good to stop printing these books. But these weren't. I mean, these ain't the money makers.
Yeah, word.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, no one. I have not. I don't remember as a child people, kids being like, nah, if I ran the zoo, that one's my shit. You know what I mean? We were basically, it was green eggs and ham. It was top on pop or one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. You know what I mean? Like we had our ones, and these seem to be, we're all probably before our time. And I mean, if you look at these, you probably wouldn't even think to give them to your kids now because they're just first very old, like clearly old, because like these aren't like, it's not like the black people that he wrote about in these books. The stereotype is a stereotype that we're familiar with based on the past 20 to 30 years.
Right.
This is like old school, you know what I mean? Like old school based on Africans, like horrible, like, I don't know, whatever, just not like really ugly ones that we're not necessarily speaking about today, but are still out there. There's like when there are a lot of Tom and Jerry cartoons and Looney Tune cartoons that they don't show anymore because of the same kind of imagery that I remember seeing as a kid in like the 80s. A bunch of cartoons where like somebody something would explode in someone's face, and then when the smoke would clear, it was like all the hair, the face was like a black face, and the hair was back in little plaits with little bows on it, like a pickaninny. Yeah. Like I remember seeing that in cartoons, like as a kid, but not necessarily knowing like, oh, that's not right. It was just like, oh, that guy had a bomb explode in his face, kind of thing.
Right.
But those aren't necessarily what's popping right now as far as stereotypes. You know,
just blew my mind right now because I just remembered that whole cartoon. I was like, oh shit, I saw some racist shit.
Yeah. There was a lot of that.
Yeah, I'm happy they made the decision, but like this definitely felt like some like real afterthought shit. Like, all right, we gotta do something to appease the people to make sure we look good, but we still gotta sell 600 million books this year again.
Yeah, they could have not made this announcement. They could have stopped making these books and not made the announcement.
Facts.
So I don't know if it's good that they did make the announcement or not, because these weren't the top sellers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice that they are making, I guess, the move. But sometimes sometimes I get tired of acknowledging people doing the right thing.
Yeah, I don't feel like this was announcement worthy. Like this felt like a reach. Like, yeah, we want to get credit for this, but I'm not a fan of this. I feel like this is like when No Limit like soldiers had like like Cain and Abel, like those like
Cain and Abel.
Yeah, like they had like those other people that like, yo, like I know they signed, but like I'm never buying that record, Like did you cop the Cain and Abel album? You know what I mean? Like I feel like
no, that one sat in the record store I worked at. That one sat in the racks for a long time. No one was really looking. People would come in and look at it and go, oh man, they got the Cain and Abel, and then they just keep moving. Like no one ever stopped, like finally. You got no more searching. But yeah, no one was ever really looking for the Cain and Abel.
So eventually Master P was like, all right, I ain't pressing this album no more.
That's fair. I mean, maybe he shouldn't have to begin with, but that's okay. That is what it is.
I applaud Master P pressing it initially. That's like a heat check, like when you in basketball, like you shoot a 40-footer just to know if you really in the zone. That was Master P saying, yo, I could do anything. I'm invincible.
And then
and you needed that reality check. You needed to know how good am I?
the only reason he felt like he could do that is because he unleashed Silk the Shocker on us, and nobody
At
stopped
all.
him.
The dude said, "I'm gonna put out
And
my
so
album."
he was like, "What if I did 2 of those at the same time?" And it's like, "Nah, 2 is too, but we'll give you 1 because it's your brother, but these 2, nah, we can't do
Yo,
that."
he legit said, "Everybody, if I love you, you getting a deal. I'm putting out an album. My brother putting out an album. My other brother putting out an album. My son can't write. He got an album. Everybody. I don't care what you are. If you related to me, you got a deal. It's happening." This man was unstoppable. So yeah, I applaud his heat check. But I'm glad Dr. Zoof got some defense played on him. They shut down these 6 books. The iconic Mr. Potato Head gets a 21st century rebrand. This fall, you're quarterly invited to Mr. Potato Head's wedding. He's marrying his partner of many years, another Mr. Potato Head. I feel like this opening paragraph by Fast Company is more problematic than anything that's happening here. What is going on? They are changing the Mr. Potato Head toy by dropping the Mr. from the name. On the surface, it may seem like a subtle shift, but it is designed to break away from traditional gender norms. That's dope, particularly when it comes to creating potato head families. How toddlers frequently play with the toy. Okay, that explains the first paragraph a lot more. All right, cool. Yeah, so that I felt like this was being made a bigger deal than it should have been as well. I was a little confused with like why people were like really like stressing the sex of this potato. I feel like you put all types of weird shit on the potato as a kid, and it had nothing to do with the sex. It's just these were the parts I had that my mom could afford. So I never viewed it as like, even though I think I called him Mister, I never viewed him as a Mister.
Right. Well, then maybe that's the problem, that the misogyny is the patriarchy is so baked within that we just called it Mister without acknowledging that we are just giving it the man title no matter what it identifies as. But basically what this means is that in each one it's going to have he like traditional he and she parts that you can then, because I think the whole thing with Mr. Potato Head was that it was all dude parts. And then you got the Mrs. Potato Head that had the lady parts. And so then you had 2 potato heads and you could mix and match however. So I imagine now if you're just getting a potato head,
you get a little bit of both.
You're getting both so that you can do whatever. I mean, I hope so.
That's what I did. I played with Mr. Potato Head, but I didn't own one. I played with him at daycare. So like
so it was just whatever was there.
So like he had a dress on and he had glasses and a shirt, and it was just a potato head. Like it was just what it was. This is what I could make, and I never thought of it like, oh no, it can't wear this because it's a Mr. or a Mrs. It was just a blank potato. It was a canvas to express yourself, So I was like, yo, be who you want to be. So I thought it was cool. Like I never viewed it as like it was keeping. It was like gender normative like that. I guess I always viewed it as like it could be what it wanted. So yeah, I think that's the key. You have to play with the Mr. Potato Head at a daycare center in the hood.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like if you played with a potato head that had all of its gendered parts at all times, like, did you even play with them? You know what I mean? Because you should have lost something, a set of eyes, one of the ears. You know what I mean? Like if you're really playing with your toys the way you should be, you lose like a third of the accessories that go with it. I had a couple of, they weren't Barbies yet because they hadn't started to make black Barbies, and my mother would only let us have the black versions of dolls. So it was a doll that was like a Barbie but larger than a Barbie. Which means that her clothing is basically whatever the clothes that she had on that when she entered our house were her only outfits. So when I wanted to change outfits, my mother just went out and bought Barbie clothing, but they didn't fit on my big ass. You know what I mean? Like if it was real, if Barbie as a person is like 5'7", 115 pounds, this bootleg Barbie this bootleg Black Barbie that my mother brought home before they started making the official Black Barbies. This bootleg one was like 6'2".
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, a little thick. She was a little
That's
thick.
all good.
And so that's fine, but there were no extra clothes for her. It was just like, you want a black version? Here you go. Here's this big girl. And so she just stayed naked all the time.
I had to tell you, the lack of clothing for Black women sounds like a real problem that Black women deal with as is.
Yeah. And it started from trying to manipulate this big doll into these little clothing. They were trying to tell you something. And then they finally, around the time of Michael Jackson, they started making Black Barbies because they also made a Black Ken that that had like a little bit of an afro and a Michael Jackson jacket. It was a real dark time. Yeah, the 80s were wild, Gastor. The 80s were wild. It was a lot.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
boy. Yeah. Anywho, so just put whatever pair of shoes and mustache on and wig on these potato head dolls that you want to. It should have been just called Potato Head the whole time.
Yeah, I'm with this. I'm really about this. I really dig all of that. Be all you could be, Mr. Potato Head, Miss Potato Head in general. I'm a fan of it.
Yeah. All potato heads. We love you and support you.
I dig it. I dig it. I think my daughter was telling me that potatoes do have both. Like they're like self.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you leave it sitting around long enough, they'll grow vines.
Yeah. So this was like the right move for the potato. Like let them self-identify, or her self-identify.
Oh, okay. So getting closer to like what an actual potato is like.
This is the truth.
Because an actual potato, okay, right, is non-binary.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the word is, but whatever, it has the options. It can self-identify.
Yeah,
so I feel like that should be. This is the most accurate potato head. Like it lives the life that it feels is true.
I really hope our listeners are enjoying two youngish to middle-aged people just trying to figure it out. Look, I'm just trying to keep up with y'all.
That's it. Like real talk.
That's what I mean. I truly mean no harm. It's just like, oh, okay, we drop into Mr. from the Potato Heads. Fine, that makes sense. Probably should have done that a while ago. But we may not know all the terms, but we know what's in our heart.
Exactly. Like that's.
I just want these potato heads to be happy.
Yeah, that's real talk. That's all I'm trying to get at. Like, whatever you see when you see the potato, that's the right answer. That's what it is. Like I feel like that. Like I judge in my heart of hearts. I feel like that's the right thing. Yeah, I'm with that. Here we go. Smartphone addiction ruins sleep. Study says, but you can fight back. I like this type of beef. Addiction to smartphone will result in poor sleep, according to a new study. The study published on Tuesday in Frontiers in Psychiatry looked at smartphone users between the ages of 18 and 30 at King's College in London. And the research asked students to complete 2 questionnaires on their sleep quality and smartphone usage, both in person and online. Our estimated prevalence is consistent. Nearly 40%, of university students qualified as addicted to their smartphones. So yeah, this is that. I'm actually surprised the number's that low.
Yeah, a little bit. Someone's lying.
Only 40% of y'all. Rock on.
Wow.
Yeah. 30. Our estimated prevalence is consistent with other reported studies in young adult populations globally, which range from 30 to 45%. Later time of use was also significantly associated with smartphone addiction, with use after 1 a.m. Conferring a 3-fold increase. So, yeah, if you, that makes sense, right? Like I feel like if you're using the phone at 1 a.m. and like you went straight through to 1 a.m., that's a problem. But like if you're using the phone at 1 a.m. because you went to bed at 10 and you're taking a 1 a.m. poop, I think you're good.
No, you're not good because you've stimulated your brain in that way. And anytime that you're looking at that screen, it takes longer for your eyes to get your body to get back into a place of sleeping.
True.
So if you wake up in the middle of the night to take a poop, don't take your phone in there.
Wow, that's real.
Because first of all, you're going to be sitting in there for too long because you're playing some game and you're on a good tear or something, you know? So you're already sitting in that position for too long after you've pooped. And it takes, like, I've read where you're supposed to give your body time to relax from the strain that you're putting on it from all of the screens, which means you don't just, shut off the phone and then roll over and go to sleep immediately. Your brain is still racing. Your eyes still have to adjust. I know all of this because I for sure am addicted to screens or my phone or whatever. And my eyes hurt. My eyes hurt. Yeah, and I wear glasses and I should have my glasses on when I'm looking at my phone, but sometimes I wake up and just reach for the phone before I reach for my glasses, and now I'm squinting at the phone like it's so important. And my glasses are like, really, bitch? Really? You can't see shit. And I'm just rubbing my eyes like, what's wrong with the phone? No, baby, that's you. That's you.
I love that you believe in yourself in the morning, though, Like, I could do this.
And what am I looking for? And what am I looking for when I wake up? I turn off the alarm, the first of like 15 alarms I set to get my ass out of bed. I turn it off. I look to see if anyone's messaged me. Who's messaging me? No one is. No one should be messaging me. But sure enough, someone may have. And then I'm like, well, let me just look and see what they were talking about all night on Twitter. Why? Go to bed. What are you talking about? So yeah, so when my cat wakes me up in the middle of the night to feed her, or if I get up to pee in the middle of the night, I don't bring I've been working very hard on not even looking at the phone.
That's rare.
And just moving and then just trying to get back into a state of relaxation. Because these phones are gonna fuck us up, y'all.
I guess like I'm nervous because like when I wake up I think like I could pee on autopilot. Like I could do that, no phone. I could do that in the dark. Like but like pooping is a lot of time, like to go without like something to read, And I don't like the whole like I never did the magazines in the bathroom thing. That always felt weird to me,
As a kid, I used to read books while I would poop. And that's also distracting. Like I would be done pooping and but into the book. So I'm just in there until my leg falls asleep. So, like now I rarely take my phone into a bathroom. If I have my phone with me in the bathroom, either it's a public bathroom and I don't even remember what that's like anymore. I don't even know what that's like. It's been so long since I've put, spread toilet paper out on a toilet seat. I don't know. Yeah, I gotta, and or I've brought it into the bathroom because I'm listening to something on it, and I'm getting ready to take a shower or something like that. But I'm not like I never really got into the habit of bringing it in for a poop, and I don't want to start now because I've already did that as a child with a book, so I know I'll be in the bathroom for hours.
Yeah, I can't. I'm definitely in the bathroom a lot, but like, it's the best place to get away from everybody.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I also have no children. I'm not fair. It is. I'm not. I don't have a world I need to escape occasionally, so I get it. I get it if that's what you have to do, but don't do it in the middle of the night.
Okay.
Just give it a shot and see if you can get back to sleep faster.
Yeah, I ain't gonna fry. I do have problems with that, like sleeping straight through the night. I don't do that much.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know you were up till 3. You were making Quiet Storm tracks at 3 a.m. drinking wine.
So what? I should definitely keep watching the phones. I mean, a classic. Okay, I'm proud of my work. My insomnia is paying off. I love it. Ann Herbert resigns as Nike exec after a report ties her to sneaker resale business. That's right. Nike announced on Monday the resignation of Ann Herbert, the company's VP and general manager of the North American region. CNBC's Lauren Thomas spoke to a representative at Nike who said that Herbert chose to resign and wasn't formally dismissed. The move comes after Herbert's son Joe was profiled in a story by Bloomberg Businessweek's Joshua Hunt about the growing sneaker resale market. Hunt stumbled upon the relationship when he received a call from a number belonging to Ann. That's right. I looked up the name.
Yo, let me tell you. Let me tell you something. I read this piece. I read this piece when it came out last week, sometime last week. The piece came out, and someone had tweeted it with just like, "This is a cover story about the resale market of sneakers." That, and what no one is talking about is how it has removed Black people from the story of it. That now it's a huge booming business with its own third-party markets and ways to move through, and people see it as, as currency and all this stuff. And it's big enough that they profile this young kid who's doing it and doing well, but no one's talking about how the reason that we even got to this point is because of Black people standing for these shoes, and these shoes having their own lives in the Black community and all that kind of stuff. So I read it because I'm like, oh, okay, well, let me read about this kid who's doing it. And there's a brief mention about that, about how that Black people are being erased from the story of sneaker resale and all of that kind of stuff. Just from the story of it, from it even happening because of the various third-party apps that are coming in, blah, blah, blah. I'm reading about this dude, this young guy. He's making all these moves and making all this money. And then it got to this part about the phone call, which was all close to the end of the piece, where he wrote, I looked the name up and discovered there was an Ann Hebert who worked at Nike for 25 years and had recently been made its vice president and general manager for North America. The press release announcing her promotion noted that she would be instrumental in accelerating our consumer direct offense, the Nike initiative that has helped fuel the sneaker resale boom. And when I tell you I look like that gif of Weebay from The Wire, I was like, I literally pushed my laptop back and said, you've got to be fucking kidding me. So this kid I've been reading about this whole time, talking about how he met up with someone and lucked up on 4 pair of the sneakers that, like, from the Back to the Future movie. Yeah. He lucked up on 4 pair of those. He, when things kind of got slow last summer, he bought a box truck, and he and a friend drove across the country, going to small sneaker boutiques and to outlet stores, and bought up a whole bunch of stuff so that they could resell. And his mama, and not only is his mama the vice president and general manager for North America and in charge of the department that's in charge of the sneakers app for Nike, but this motherfucker still has his phone in his mama's name? You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, this is the worst ad for family plans ever.
No, I'm not. And also the kid is like 19. And in some part of the story, it's like, well, when he was in high school, he noticed. I was like, when he was in high school, what, like 45 minutes ago? What are you talking about?
I love that they tried to make it seem like he was ahead of the game. Like the whole idea of like this whole sneaker reseller culture is legitimately older than him.
Older than him. Older than
in
him.
High school, I noticed. What you noticed? Something that's 20 years old, my G? What did you notice?
Oh my God.
I discovered this little sport called NFL football. It's incredible.
Oh my God.
You should put some dollars in it. This freaking idiot. Like, you know, this is like foolproof to me. Like, whenever you do make it, man, like, yo, keep your eyes on the details, B. Like this lady clearly made at least 6 figures a year, probably more with bonuses. Her son was leveraging that for his own 6-figure business, and they got brought down because this man didn't want to pay an extra $10 a month for his own T-Mobile plan.
Also, he was charging them on American Express corporate card in his mother's name when he would buy the shoes from places in order to resell them. So the original article started with him using bots, by the way, which you're not even supposed to. Anywho, using various bots, talking about how he's got people who are in charge of various bots who work in his crew, and how they bought up like $135,000 worth of Yeezys and then flipped them, right? And the card that he used to pay for them was his mother's American Express corporate card. I mean, come on, bruh. What?
Real talk, man, you can't love all your kids. Like,
what if that's their only one?
Like, this is enough to be like, yeah, I don't fuck with you no more, B. Like, you could cut a kid off over this nonsense.
But all she had to know, because he's got pictures on his old Instagram account that was just him in front of walls of shoes, like on their deck.
Yeah, it was insane.
Because he's 19. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's him at home.
Yeah, that's on you too. Word.
I get that she's a vice president, and I'm sure she probably got more boxes of Nikes in the house than the rest of us, right? But you don't got a wall, come on. You don't have a wall of them. You're not posing in front of them with like Lucy sneakers covering you.
Yeah, how do you go back to like wearing Nikes after that? Like, if you got a wall of Nikes and then you get fired by Nike, like, you can't like keep wearing Nike.
All that Nike shit. All that. What are they wearing? What are they wearing?
That shit gotta go, B.
Yeah.
And like,
you can't wear anything. You look at a swoosh and you're just like, I'm done. I got to go to therapy.
There's too much hurt there. Yeah.
There's so much hurt.
It ain't even about loyalty. That's just pain. Like, I would legit cry. Like, y'all lost a $500,000 job over these freaking Nike checks. You know what I mean? Now I don't get no Nike checks.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't think I don't know if she was just like in on the fix, but I'm sure something's happened. You know what I mean? She's also not completely clueless.
Word.
That's her. I mean, the kid is 19. He dropped out of college to do this. He dropped out of college to do this. So you know what I mean? Your parents are going to notice if you were in college and suddenly after a year, you're not in college.
Yeah. Yo, privilege is different, yo.
It really is. I was just like, oh my God. I've been like, when I read that, I was just like, this is insane. And then when, after the weekend, it came out that the woman left the job, I was just like, yeah, you left that job. You can't stay there because your dumbass son wants to floss for the camera. You gotta go. You can't.
Listen, I've been telling my kids from day one, you don't own shit, okay? This house is daddy's house. It's your mama's house. We put in the sweat equity. I will show you how to get your own house.
Right.
But make no mistake, this is my house. You know what I mean? I own this. This is under my name. And I don't even own it in full. I'm still paying the bank. But it's between me and them. Me and Chase. All right? That's our relationship. You want your house, you go get your house. Don't be reckless out there with my house. And if I blow up one day, it's still going to be my house. All right? It's not your house till I decide so. Then you end up with nonsense like this. This kid 100% thought all that money was his money. Like,
absolutely,
he lived it up. Like, yeah, look how I'm doing it. And he ain't put in the time to earn it. He was never humble because he never knows what it took to make that.
Yep.
And nonsense.
That's wild. That's wild. And it's something that has always bothered me. It's just like, you a grown ass person and your phone is under your mama name. Like, get out of my face with that bullshit. I don't have time. I don't know why, because look, everyone's got their situations. I mean, there are probably times where it's actually smarter to have a friends and family plan, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like don't do dirt. If you're going to do dirt, don't implicate your family because y'all want savings. Yeah. Like, that's not, y'all, you know, you want to pay a little less on the bill, but you out here, you know, doing wrong. And now your sister got to leave her job at T-Mobile because you don't know how to flip your bricks correctly.
Yo.
You know what I mean?
And the thing, really, T-Mobile at least once a year runs a special where they will give you a free line. You could just have an extra phone this whole time. Reckless kids, man.
Yeah, you know, it's just not right. It's just, oh boy, I don't know, that whole story. Boy, I laughed so much when it came out that she quit her job. I laughed for a full hour.
Oh man.
It's nice because it bothered me so much last week, and then when she had to quit, it brought me so much joy. These fucking idiots. I was just so thrilled. Try again when you get your own phone line, bro. Try it again. Give it another shot. When your mom try it at a company where your mother's not in charge of the sneakers.
Yeah, like what need did he have for this?
You're such a good businessman.
You're VP and the general manager of North America. You didn't need to flip a damn sneaker. Like, that wasn't your hustle. That wasn't for you. Come on, man. Leave that for the people that need to be flipping kicks. It ain't for you.
Thank you. It's not for you. You don't need it.
Oh my God.
Nike was already paying your bill.
You were the original flip. Like, she's there. She's the plug. Like, that should have been your whole IG account. Instead of trying to say you were a sneaker flipper, you should have been like, I'm the plug. It would have been just as strong for your cool points and brand. Right. You could have flexed all the sneakers first. You would have gotten the exact same notoriety on IG as anyone else without risking the bag for your mom. You know what I mean? Kids don't learn, baby.
They don't. Oh, goodness.
Finally, we have a California doctor perform surgery during a Zoom court appearance.
Okay.
California doctor whose trial was delayed after he appeared for a virtual court hearing while simultaneously conducting surgery on Thursday. Dr. Scott Green, a plastic surgeon, showed up to his virtual Sacramento Superior Court hearing, held over Zoom, to contest a traffic violation wearing scrubs, gloves, a mask, and a surgical cap. Are you available for trial? The court clerk asked Green during the proceedings, which were live streamed. It kind of looks like you're in the operating room right now. He said, I am in the operating room. Yes, I'm available for trial. Go right ahead.
You know what? I ain't mad at him. Have you ever gotten a parking ticket and you're like, this is bullshit? I will be at every court date you give me because this is bullshit. I'm far enough away from that goddamn sign. Think I won't. I'm taking pictures right now. Think I won't. Reschedule all you want. See if I won't show up in scrubs. Absolutely. I'm with this doctor on this. He is not trying to pay that speeding ticket. I don't blame him.
I support it because I could think of so many times in my job where I could 100% could have taken a phone call. Like, not every one of the job tasks are like super like stressful, focus related things. Like, we don't know what kind of plastic surgery this was. You know, it could have been like the equivalent of like filing papers. You know, like. You know, for him, like, that's his layup. Like, yo, this is easy shit, you know? I ain't even opening up the dude's eyes or nothing. It's crazy, you know? This is just a nose job. Whatever it is, it's easy for this dude. So, yeah, he could have taken the call. And he said, y'all got my mans right here, you know?
Oh, wow.
This is, yo, man, people got audacity on Zoom, man. I love this shit. Zoom is like just making people like real brazen. Just like, yo, I'm going to try it, see what happens. Because he was, like, yo, if you look at the picture of it, like, he is by far the most, like, focused person in the meeting. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm giving you full eye contact despite this surgery.
Yep.
This ain't changing nothing. I want my $65 back. I did not do the speed limit on that highway. Past the scale.
Oh, and you know, it's tough too, because when you had to do like traffic violations, like court appearances in person, you basically were just praying that that cop wouldn't show up until it would be thrown out. But now with Zoom, cop's going to show up. Everybody's going to show up. So you really got to be, you know what I mean? And cop, I mean, you know, they show that they don't care. If you're just like, hey, I can't, I'm you know, I've got this on that day, and they're just like, I mean, if you want to, you could just go ahead and pay it, or if you really want to fight it, you'd be there. All right, okay, nigga, I'll see you. I'll see you on the 5th then. Let's do this.
Scott Green is about that life. My man's a plastic surgeon in California, probably making 600-700 racks a year, but he wants that $65 back.
He is not paying for that $72 parking. I don't blame. Also, if this is in California, I'm sure it's a parking thing. And he's probably like, enough. I'm not doing this. Y'all got me out here shaving down noses during a pandemic, and you want my $72? Not the kid. I'm not doing it.
Yo, you know what I was picturing too, now that I think about it, is that like this dude had to pay a nurse to be in the operating room to dial for him because he was already
That's right. There is another person. He's paying more to do this than the ticket probably is.
You're like, nope, you operating today with me. Like, oh, what am I doing? Am I getting to assist? Yeah, you're going to assist kind of in my personal life.
In a way.
You know?
Oh, wow.
Awesome. I love it. I love this guy's energy. I'm about it. Go out there, fight those battles. You know what I mean? Everybody, you know what I mean? You deserve it. We all need a little bit of Scott Green in ourselves.
Absolutely.
Oh, man. If you are a fan of the show, we always appreciate you. Please send in any articles you want us to cover. Feel free to DM myself for Shalewa at Silky Jumbo, at Gastor Almonte, or Twitter or Instagram. Always appreciate the stuff that you guys send in. If you like the show, like and subscribe to the show. Please rate us if you're an Apple listener. With that said, always a pleasure to catch y'all next week. My name is Gastor Almonte, always with the homie Shalewa Sharpe. Catch y'all later. This has been the War Report. Peace.